Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we're going to be making a robotic arm. Let's get started. Okay, so the plan today is we're going to hard surface model a robotic arm. This is going to be a character in the short film that we're doing in the ongoing Make It Your Own short film series. But this is a standalone tutorial. It's about how to do some hard surface modeling. And we're going to talk about some cool tricks for how to create some cool hard surface objects, especially objects that you want to then rig and turn into a character, which we will do in another tutorial. If you haven't seen the other episodes of this series and you'd like to follow along, you can find the playlist on the main page of the channel, and I'll put a link in the description as well. All right, so let's get started. I've got a couple of images that I've pulled up that I really like. This is one by an artist over on ArtStation that looks really cool. I like the four-pronged thing going on. It's really nice. Got this image here, which is also kind of a cool schematic image. Gives us some ideas on how to possibly make this thing work. We've got this one with the more of an articulated pincer hand. What I'm doing. All right, let's go ahead and hit A to select everything and X to delete everything. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the base. We're going to work up, and we'll start with some basic shapes. So I'm going to go Shift A and create a cube. And I will scale this down on the Z. And I'll scale it up a little bit. And I'm just going to create some basic shapes. So I'm going to go into edit mode. I'll look at this head on the side. I'll go into X-ray mode and I'll hit B to box select. And I'll go like that with edge mode activated. And now you can see I've just selected those edges. And now I can hit Control B to bevel. I'm going to drag this out. We could make it rounded if we roll our mouse wheel, but I think I will just keep it flat like this. I'm going to grab one side and I'll grab Z, I'll bring them down, and I'll grab these guys, grab Z, bring them down. I'm going to scale on the Y, bring it in a little bit, turn off my X-ray mode, also bring it up so it's sitting on the ground. Now I'm going to take this face here, this top face, I'm going to hit I to inset, and I will bring this in like so. I might bring it up a little bit just to create that extra layer of faceting. E again, and I will scale this. What I think I'll do is I'll hit I to inset one more time, and I'll bring this in. And I'll grab this tiny ring right here, and I'll hit E to extrude and grab Z and bring it down so it goes inside. And I'll grab this one here and I'll grab it up on the Z. I'm also going to scale it on the Z, so S, Z, and hit 0, and that will flatten it out. And that's kind of cool, like a double base thing. I'll hit I to inset, not double base as in the instrument, but. And E again, I'll bring this down. And all I'm doing is just kind of looking at the overall shape, the flow, and the feel. Like I'm just kind of vibing this thing, you know? E again, grab this up. And then I inset, do another facet like that. Bring this section in, E and down. And I think that's a pretty good looking base. Now let's add in a little bit of detail. So I'll grab something like, I don't know, this side here, hit inset, bring this in, and I'll subdivide this. I'll open up the little drop-down menu. There's a little drop-down menu here. You can see I just clicked the arrow to open it up, and I'm just going to roll the number of cuts, something like this. And then what I can do is just select a couple of these. Okay, hit escape, and then I'm going to hit E to extrude. Make sure I'm set to normal, and then I will grab these guys and push them out, or maybe in. All right, let's go back in edit mode to Control R, and let's create a loop cut like that. Scale Z, scale Y. And then I'm going to switch to face mode and alt click to grab that loop. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude and scale to bring it in. Might make some kind of vent thing at the back. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to hit I to inset. I'll bring it in like that. What I'll do is Shift D to duplicate this face. And I'll just bring it out a little bit, and then Control R, and I'll just roll my mouse wheel. And then Control B to bevel. Drag that out, and E to extrude, and just push this out like so. And then Control B to bevel again, and just go just a little bit there. Then L to select linked, and I'll just push this back in. And then I'll select this face, this. I'll hit E to extrude, and I'll push it in. Maybe scale it a little bit. All right, now let's get on to the arm section. Let's keep moving. So I want to build the arm section coming out of this. So I'm going to select this face and hit Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm going to leave edit mode. I'll create this as a new object. So I'll go Shift A and I will go for a cube. I'm going to scale on the Y and grab on the X. And I think I'm going to use the mirror modifier for this, possibly. Scale X, bring that in there, bring it up, and go into edit mode. Just filling it out now. All right, I'm going to take this scale X and then bring it down. And I'll scale Y as well, so it like kind of expands. It comes up and out. Group here. What do I want to do? Let's see. I'm going to look at it from the side, go into X-ray mode, beta box select those edges, and then Control beta bevel. Drag that. Get out of X-ray mode. I'm going to grab this face. Let's hit I to inset. Bring this in. Scale Y. Bring that in. E. Bring it down. E. Scale. E. Bring it up. It's the majority of modeling right there. A couple of loop cuts. Control B to bevel these guys. E to extrude and scale to bring them in. And then let's take this. And this is going to kind of lead into the first section that will be articulated. So I want to have a platform, basically. This guy, I want to be able to like pivot and rotate. So I need to get this into like a circular shape. So I'm going to go for a Control R to loop cut. I'll put one there. Control R again, put one there. And then I'm going to select this face now. And I'm going to go F3 to sphere. And I'll drag my mouse. And that's going to be a bit crazy, isn't it? All right, let's try insetting that, grabbing it up, and bring it in. Now let's see if we can do it again. Get a bit more control this time. All right, that kind of works. I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to hit E. I'm going to bring it up and scale it out, bring it up. This might be a bit too narrow. Doesn't feel quite right. So I'm going to grab these guys here. I might grab this loop of rings here, scale them up. Switch to the global again. Getting a few irregularities in the way it's scaling. So I'll just go back to global, pull that out. Then I'm going to bevel this group just to kind of make it not so sharp. Let's grab this base down here. I think it's a bit weird the way it kind of tapers in, so I'm going to change that. Let's switch to proportional editing and scale on the Y and just fatten this whole thing out like so. Go into edit mode for our bottom piece, grab this, scale Y as well. Now let's take this thing, go into edit mode. I'll grab this face right here and I'll go Shift S cursor to selected, go to edit mode, and then Shift A. I'm going to create a cylinder right here. Scale it down on the Z, scale it up on the Z. Let's get it right on that spot. We go ahead and turn on auto smoothing. So go to the green tab, go to normals and click auto smooth, and then right click and shade smooth. And that will shade smooth these bits, but wherever the angle is over 30 degrees, so right here, it's going to shade it really sharp. All right, go into edit mode, select this top one, and I'm going to inset this. E again, grab, turn off proportional editing, X up, and E, and scale. E up. I'm going to loop cut. Oops. Control R right there. Control B to bevel. I love doing this. I do it all the time. That loop cut, Control B. It's just a great way to get a few extra cuts into something. I might take this guy as well and turn on auto smooth. Actually, no, that doesn't look very good, does it? All right, so that's going to be my pivot base. Now let's take this and let's grab, let's go for a cube again. Let's come up and then let's go into edit mode. Let's scale it down, grab Z. All right, I want some kind of like thing that sits on top of this circular base that like kind of pivots, right? And I want to think about as well with this guy, I want everything to feel a bit menacing, right? And a bit like trash heap, worn down, industrial. I'm not liking this section right here either. So I want to try and think about those ideas in my design as I go. So I'm gonna create a cut like this, and I'll also create a cut like that with Control R. I'm gonna switch to my vertex mode and I'll look at this thing from which side? Actually, I'm just gonna grab these two and these two, and I'm gonna grab Z, bring it down like that. I'm gonna delete this bottom section here. Delete those faces. Grab this one, bring them up. Let me grab these guys. bring them up as well. I'll hit A to select all and E to extrude and S to scale. Just scale it up. It'll create a bit of thickness. And I'll just bring this guy down. It needs to sit above, needs to be able to rotate, around this housing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take these edges, this, and I'm going to Control B to bevel. That's funny. This one worked well, but the others didn't. All right, I'll select that inner edge for all these guys because that seemed to work a bit better. And Control B. Grab all that. Control B. All right, let's take the top. Switch to X-ray mode. Deselect everything. Let's bring this right down. Do this. I think I'm going to delete these faces. I'm going to scale Z, those two, just to flatten it out so they're equal. And I'll bring this up a bit. Bring those guys down. I'm going to select those two loops, and then I'm going to go F3 bridge edge loops. Then we'll fill those out. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'll select these three edges like this. I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate, and I'll just grab them up like this. I think I will use the mirror modifier. I'm going to hit E to extrude and grab Z. This will be like a gap that we can see some of the mechanical stuff inside. And then with this, I'm going to scale Z and I'm going to flip it like that. All right, I'm going to hit L to select linked, E to extrude, and I'll just pull this one out like that. Let's see, I might do 2 loop cuts like this and grab the center bit here and hit I to inset, bring that in, and then E to extrude and pull that in. This can be like a little panel thing. You can Shift S cursor to select it, and then Shift A in edit mode and create a cylinder. Rotate X 90 degrees. Grab Shift Y, that will lock it on the X and Y plane and not on the X and Z, or not the Y. Scale the Y, flatten it out a little bit. Let's go ahead and mirror modify this. So I'm going to select vertexes. Look at this from the side view here. I'll turn on X-ray mode. I'll select Alt-A to deselect everything, and then B to box select all these verts. X, delete them, and then we can go modifier, add mirror modifier. And we want to mirror along the Y, not the X. And we can turn on clipping. Let's follow the same design methodology. We'll come here, grab this edge, Shift D, and we'll grab it up. E to extrude, grab Z, scale Z, flip it. Actually, what I could do is just grab this top one, bring this one out, just thicken this up a little bit by hitting E and grabbing it on the X. Do a couple of rolls there and Control B to bevel, E, and we're going to grab that out. Let's do Alt S to scale along normals. And let's come to the back here. We'll grab that edge, Shift D, grab Z, bring it up, E, grab Z, scale Z, flip it, grab Z, bring it up. And then this one, I might take the top one on this side and just bring it down. And I'll select this face, E to extrude, and I'll just thicken it up a little bit. And I might select this, create one more panel. Let's actually make a weird panel. Let's grab all of those. And then E to extrude. Let's push this out. And then I to inset. E, in, E, scale, and out. Some more just little weird bits like this that we can put on it, the better, I think. All right, so this whole section is going to be able to rotate. And now we need to come up to this next bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this bit because I don't really, actually, instead of getting rid of it, maybe let's try rotating it 90 degrees on the Y. Sorry, I'm at 180. Scaling it down some. Stick this inside. Bring this group down. And let's scale it on the Z. And then on the X, Y, this, grab this bit, Shift D, grab Z, fill this whole region out again. Just experimenting, just seeing how we can reuse some of these components. Select all of this, and let's bring it right down onto that section there. Go into edit mode. I'm going to grab the front section right here, turn on proportional editing, and grab X. And just bring this whole section back. I'm rolling my mouse wheel, by the way. That's how I create that. Make the circle get bigger or smaller for a larger or smaller influence. And then this next section, switch to a better view mode. I kind of feel like I'm not seeing this. I'm going to switch to matte cap, and I'm going to go to this view mode. I feel like this panel is way too flat. Like it needs more detail. So I'm going to select all the faces here and hit I to inset. Oops, I had one too many. Didn't want that top one. Actually, I'll just deselect. Let's try that again. Shift select those guys. Make sure I've just got what I want. I to inset. Bring that in. E to extrude. Turn off proportional editing. Pull that out. I to inset. Bring it back. E. Grab Y. Pull it in. And then scale. E again. And pull this out like that. That helps. Same with this back section. Probably needs some love. We could use the fact that we're using the mirror modifier to get some cool stuff. Might Shift D to duplicate that face. Grab it on the X to pull it back a little bit. Control R. And roll my mouse wheel. Control B to bevel. E to extrude. Grab X just to get some vents going. I feel like those look really cool. I don't like this piece. I'm going to delete that because I feel like we need to figure out a better solution for that section. I might bring one of them up here. I think these wheels are going to be really handy. Feeling this bit feels a bit bland now. Might take the front panel, set that, and do some of these. Shift D to duplicate, Control R to loop cut, Control B to bevel. The reason why I duplicate, by the way, is so that those loop cuts don't travel across the whole mesh. They just go on that one polygon because I've just duplicated a single polygon. I'm going to bevel some of these. Bevels really, really help in hard surface modeling for creating a sense of that it's been manufactured because the light catches. There's this thing as a perfect edge, right? And so wherever we've got these, if we expand them out, they're going to catch the light in a way that's way more realistic. Whereas at the moment, when it's just a one big edge, turn on proportional editing, scale on the X, I want to bring in this section so that it's a bit more closely adhered to this. I'm also going to grab face mode. I'll go over here and I might scale this out a little bit more. Yeah, that's feeling a whole lot better to me. I want to now create the main articulating arm section. So I might take some of our circular objects. I'm going to Shift D, grab these up here, rotate X 90. Actually, rotate X 180. Let's flip it around. Let's grab a Y and let's pop that right over here. I might add a little more detail to this. So I'm going to come here, hit I to inset, bring it in, E to extrude, grab Y, turn off proportional edit, grab Y. E, scale, E, grab Y, E, scale, E, grab Y, E, scale. Just like so. I'm going to Shift S, cursor to world origin, put that down there. And then what I'll do is I'll make my pivot the cursor. And now what I can do is Shift D to duplicate, scale Y -1. Oh, that's right. I've got to set it there. Sorry. Anyways, up here, we could set this to the 3D cursor. And then what I could do is scale Y -1, and that'll flip it because our cursor is right at 0, 0. And that'll bring it over there for us. Bring these guys up a touch. Shift D with this thing, bring it up here. Scale Y. Turn this back onto medium point. It's on the Z, I think. I'm going to take this bit here and I'm going to Shift D to duplicate, grab it up, bring it out like that. And then I want it to pivot, right here like that. So what I'll do is I'll select both of these guys. Shift S, cursor to selected. It'll put the cursor right in between both of these. Now I can select this and I can say object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. Now I can rotate on the Y and it's going to pivot from the right point. That just helps me as I'm thinking about the shape of this. So then I can pose it a little bit and model some. I don't mind repeating that shape coming through on this. I need to scale that down to the Y. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make the next articulating section. So I'll Shift D these guys, bring them up. Then I go Shift A and create a cube. And grab it up, scale it down so it fits. We've got enough repeating forms, I think. I'm going to go into edit mode with this, and I'll create a loop cut right here. And then I'll select the faces that are around this section here, and I'll hit E to extrude and grab on the Y. And on the X, I'll just bring them out. So I'm going to grab this edge and grab it on the X and bring it forward. This edge, do the same. Bring it forward. Grab this face, hit E to extrude, grab Z, bring it up, E, and then I'll scale it a little bit. Y, grab X, pull it out. That out. Grab this face, grab it up a little bit, hit E to extrude. Might go ahead and parent this to these guys so that I can just look at it every now and then. Throw on a Bevel Modifier. Like that. Make it a bit smaller. Do some loop cuts down the side. That's good. Control B to bevel. E, scale Y. Bring those out. I'd select this group here. I to inset. Time, I to inset. Bring it in like that. E, grab X. Scale it on the X. Scale it on the Z. Actually, I might delete those faces. Actually, open up the inside of this. And we've got a lot of doubling up here on these polygons. So what I should do is grab probably this edge and this edge. Grab them down a little bit. This edge, this edge. No, that edge and that edge. Bring them up. That'll help clean up all that geo. And we'll come up to the top as well. I'm going to look at this from the side. I'll switch to vertex mode, turn on transparency, and I'll box select all those. And I'll just hit X to delete just to clean that up. Get out of transparent mode. Let's select this edge by hitting Alt, and this one too, and then E to extrude, and just bring them up like that. And E again, and maybe scale it down. Good, and as well, we need to merge, should go through with all this merge by distance, because we'll have a bunch of like doubled up vertexes. Let's go into edit mode, select it, hit A to select all, merge by distance. Do some loop cuts down the center there. Pull that back. A few more. Scale it down on the X. That looks kind of nice. Actually, I think that's kind of cool. This guy, Shift D to duplicate, grab Z, scale it down, rotate Z 90. Yeah, I might Shift D to duplicate. Grab this one up, rotate X 90, and grab this on the Y, and just center this up on the Y and the X. So it's dead center. Scale it up a bit. That will fill that section for us nicely. And I can Shift D to duplicate, grab this up, and scale this down. If I duplicate this, shrink it down. See, by working the local axis, that means I can actually kind of tweak stuff and keep it posed like this. All right, we're coming up on the articulating arm, I think. So I'm going to select this, Shift S, cursor to selected. Now let's create the housing first for the arm. And I will go into edit mode, I'll grab these edges actually, do what we did before, that. Get out of X-ray mode so I can see it, Control B to bevel, and I'll bevel it like that. Go into this one, and I'll hit I to inset. I'm gonna make like a little door, I think, or some kind of like opening. So E again, and grab Z, bring that down. I don't mind that angle so much, but bring that in a touch, and then I'll just delete that face. Also delete this face, and I'll grab these edges, hit E, and scale, and grab X, pull that out. And then what else do we need to do? We've got to do, let's get a couple of panels. Let's go in like that, E, and then grab X, E, and scale, E, grab X, scale right down like so, and then E, and actually let's not do that. Let's not extrude. Let's scale this down, but let's grab this out like that. I think that'll look cool. F3 grid fill again, just to close that mesh up. I'm going to grab one of these panels here, and I to inset, bring it in, E to extrude. I'm going to switch to the normal. That'll allow me to move on the direction of that the polygon's facing. So I'll pull this in a little bit, and then I'm going to do another Shift D's, pull this out, Control R, roll my mouse wheel again, Control B to bevel, E, and bring it out, Control B to bevel just a little bit, and L to select linked this, and just drag these guys in some. I might just select all and Control B to bevel one more time. Now come over here to this side, and I will inset this and E, and just pull that in like that. Scale it down, maybe E, let in, scale it. And I'll just leave it like that. I'll grab this edge that we've just created, and I'll bevel that. All right, let's take the whole thing, look at it from the side, go into vertex mode, X-ray mode, Alt-A, just deselect everything. Let's grab the front, and let's turn on proportional editing, hit S to scale, and just roll the mouse wheel. Let's kind of scale it all down like that, and then grab Z to scrunch it up. I'm going to hit, let's see, I to inset on this top panel, then E to extrude, and I will turn off proportional edit, grab up like this. I might Control R, create a loop cut, bring it forward a bit, and then grab this section, E, grab it up like that. So grab these guys right here, switch back to local, grab them up a little bit, and then I'll take these faces like this, inset them, grab X, pull them back a little bit, X again, something like that, I think. And I might even grab these two and scale Y just to scale those out. And then what we can do is we can like select these top ones, hit Control plus to expand the selection. And then we can Shift D to duplicate, and then I'll just duplicate those polygons. And then I can scale Z -1. That will flip it. I can bring it down here, and I can line it up. If it intersects, I could just leave it like this. It's probably fine. This face, these two faces, and Shift S cursor to select it. Then grab the one that I just duplicated, and Shift S selection to cursor parent. Let's keep the transform. That's how we want to do that. Right. I'm going to switch back to global, grab X to duplicate, scale Y -1, grab Y, bring this one over, and just kind of turn off snapping mode, just kind of line that up. So they're right in there. I might house them a little bit inside this. Scale them up a bit more. Duplicate one of these, grab it on the Y, scale it down, and then scale it on the Y. This can be the interior section. I'd start with this as a base, so these are the round bits. So I'll Shift D to duplicate. I'll rotate X 90 degrees to point it right out. Grab it on the Y, center it up, and then I'll scale it on the Z. And I will scale it up. Let's select that. Let's scale these guys up, but we want to scale on the normals. So I think Alt S is what we need to click. Yep. Might pull them back on the Z a little bit. We're going to need to take these guys out. So I'm actually going to scale them on the Z just to bring them out a bit more. Because I want to make sure I can see it clearly. You know, like these pincers need to be very, very visible. We're going to have another one, something like this up here. I'm going to come down to this edge ring right here. Shift S cursor to selected, and then I'll set that as my origin for this object. Origin to 3D cursor. This will allow me to see what this is going to look like. Shift D to duplicate, bring these guys up. I'm going to get rid of this face here at the edge, at the end here. Go to vertex. I'll click this loop, like so. And Scale on let's rotate it on the Y, I think. And then scale it on the Z. Scale it on the X a bit. Then I'm going to E to extrude, scale that down. And then E to extrude, grab X, bring it down like that. E, scale. And then E, grab X, bring it up. And then let's grid fill. Yeah, I want this section here to have like chunkier sections than this. So I'm going to grab these and I'm going to Alt S to scale them up. I'm thinking it might be interesting if, let's grab the end here and let's turn on portion editing and let's scale this down, but roll our mouse wheel just to make it like sharp, like a talon. I think that might be a bit scary. Probably need one more articulation set right here. Forward, bring it up, bring these guys out, these guys back. These guys I'm going to go to individual origins and scale them down, and scale Y as well. Although the interior is feeling a little empty as well, we should probably fill out some of that. So up here, just use these guys to kind of fill out some of that empty space. A bit of empty space is fine, like it's not a problem, but now, if you're watching this tutorial, you're probably watching the 20 to 30 minute cut down version that's on YouTube. And if you'd like to watch the full uncut live stream, we went for about an hour and 45 minutes to make this entire thing in every detail. You want to catch all that stuff, including all the neat things we did with geometry nodes, with the cables and all the neat stuff like that. Check out the Patreon. If you become a Patreon member there, you'll get access to all of my live streams. And I also include those for YouTube channel members. So consider joining YouTube as well. If Patreon's not your thing, you get access to all the live streams there. Well, I hope you've really enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you've learned a few cool things that you can stick into your tool belt that you can use to create awesome stuff for your own projects. Hope you're enjoying this series, getting a lot out of it. Please hit the subscribe button on YouTube and hit the like if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of the series so far and where you'd like to see it go. Thanks again, everybody. Hope you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you in the next episode. See ya.